Hello, it's round 2, there's things to be found. Were you happy with your run? Will you be happy with your run after you witness these incredible reroutes and beautiful mechanics from the best players? Welcome to the XDWC review. It's round 2 and we have got some fantastic players to watch. We had a total of 180 players from 41 countries and a bunch of other stats that we will go through with the first record of the month. There were no secrets to go through on this map from Freddy, so we can just get straight into the game with our first player, Dark Terminal. This is your African champion, and one thing we all know about Africa is that there's no countries that begin with the letter K. Now you might say Kenya is in Africa, but to that I say, Kenya suck these nuts. So Dark Terminal's from Kenya, and this is an interesting run. I always use the slowest run of the week as my testing setup when I'm changing the HUD over, making sure everything's set up. But this is an interesting run because he clearly knows where to go and does know some tricks, but doesn't know the strafe running parts or to run and jump. Gets a little bit there, decides to try and kill jhheight for some reason, which, you know, we've all tried it. We've all tried it. But the thing I find really interesting about this is there's a knowledge that you can do this and gain some speed, but I think that they must not have a HUD on that shows the speed, and it doesn't feel like you're gaining much speed while you're just holding W, to be fair. That's a reasonable route to get up, and that's the sort of thing I mean. That little flick is very interesting. This isn't a player that knows what they're doing, trying to do a run where you don't run and jump, because you'd use a different route. You wouldn't have tried doing the little jumping if you were just running and jumping. But this isn't a first run at all. Knows which way to go. So, yeah, avoids the pit. Knows which way to go for sure. This isn't the first run. And there's an interesting thing we'll see right in the final room, where it almost feels like they've watched the guide video, because they do exactly what I would tell. Like, either they've watched the guide video or it's the surfing section at the end. They've either watched the guide video because it's exactly what I say to do to get across that smoothly, or they've somehow worked it out, which is quite interesting. It's really interesting to watch these runs. This is the reason that everybody's maximum speed is 5,000. Actually, no, the bottom one does 5,000. This is not their first rodeo, though I did think they might be fighting against the end here.
1 minute remains.
But this is the strangest part of this run to me. You know, there's no point making fun of people, because we were all this crap at some point. Some of us came from other games and were able to jump in quite quickly. Possibly a Quake 1 player doesn't know that crouching exists, but then goes and does this. Again, doesn't know crouching exists. But that flick up that wall was pretty good. That was clean. That was a clean ramp. And then this is the bit that I was talking about, that I feel like they know something. They know something, because watch this. That's smooth. That's smooth as anything. If you've got no speed, that's exactly what I say to do in the guide. And only just nails it before the timer runs out as well. So that is brilliant. But welcome to the game, Dark Terminal. If you for some reason found this video, thank you for your run. Congratulations on being the African Continental Champion for the week. You've got half a chance at being the overall African Continental Champion if you get another one. Next up, we have everybody's favourite South American champion. It is Dez. 44th place for Dez with a 40.91. With a beautiful run through the majority of the map there from Dark Terminal. We've seen most of which way we are heading, which is very nice. It's also a reason I like the slightly slower paced runs to start off with. I was supposed to do a bunch of stats actually. The time difference of the whole top 20 is 6.66 seconds, which was noted by somebody and I can't remember who, and I'm sorry about that. But this seems to be the general run all the way through. You can use this next to shoot the target, drop you down onto the slick below. You then come through here, try not to eat that as much as possible. Get the rocket launcher. It's a little bit of a trick to get into the red section to get the rocket launcher. Is Dez going to ant hole the finish? He is not. He could have definitely got something slightly faster. With the flick off the side. Keeps it safe, gets it into the finish. A very nice run. Next up, we have wdjzr. Previously in the top 20 from last week, one of the players that was last week in the top 20 and is now out of the top 20, though I'm not sure about the overall. This is just the overall top 20, but is still the Asian continental champion. We're lumping Asia and the whole of Turkey into Asia because it makes things simpler. But here we go, a 37.52. Decent step up, but I don't think... Well, we might see a completely different route. This is similar to last week where there were routes going off left, right and centre from various different people putting different things in different places. So there is a chance that it's a completely different route. Straight out the gate, using a WA start rather than an AD off of the to do the wall slick. Nice rocket, decent off of the uses the lamppost there. Goes for this is quite a cool route. Some people were able to get up to the top and get slick off of that. Goes for the slick down the bottom, coming out with 2000, very nicely done. Doesn't go for the rocket. You do have to, especially go in this direction. Beautifully up there. Absolutely stunning up there. Drops it down through here. Running along the edge. And very nicely into the finish. A great run. A great run. Popping up another 3 places. It was a tight week to get into the top 20 this week. Things spread out once you get into the top 20, but it was a tight week during the top 20, like just around the top 25 sort of thing. So only 0.25 of a second separating 3 places into Kyle's run. There'll be plenty of different routes, Ninyar. There will be plenty of different routes. So let's see what Kyle can pull off. He had a few good runs. He wasn't liking this map at the start. Very nice start there. Gets a lot of speed off of that ground nade. The DJ up the ramp at the start gave you less speed to continue out of it. I think some people were getting it to work if they were pre-firing a rocket, so we might see it later. Oh, and he manages to get through. Absolutely perfect. I was trying for that so hard, I couldn't get it. That was I think the key to a lot of people's runs in the end, was getting straight through the ant hole. But yeah, let's on Banano's run. Let's talk about so Banano set this very early and held on till the end. Couldn't manage to improve it. So this will be an impressive run because there might be some panic. Because it was early enough that, yes, so Banano is going to go this way. So, yeah, this might have some panic in it. A lot of people swapped their routes because it was making a change. But you see how Banano comes out of there with 1,000 speed off the top of the ramp. 1,000 speed is perfect to shoot a pre-fire rocket. So it could be that people who are going for a pre-fire rocket to gain an extra rocket shot might be using it. Banano, a fellow panicked shot member, goes on the long way around. It's safer. It's very nice. And does manage to cruise it into the finish for a tasty 37.13. Following that up, couldn't quite make it into the top 20 last week. We have khanate. I can't say that name very well. With a 36.86. Very nice time. Your Australian Continental Champion. So we'll see how the Aussies got on. This run, a decent chunk faster than Banano's, but not a ridiculous amount. It's pronounced khanate, thank you. Appreciate it, jhheight. Very nice slick off there, 550 out of the slick. A little crouch, tasty. Rocket launch, one rocket, interesting there. One rocket goes for the ramp with a late second nade. So you could have either 3 grenade shots or 1 rocket and 1 grenade shot. They were your options at the start. Without doing any pre-fire trickery for a free grenade. Absolutely beautiful up there. Keeps so much speed. Gets an absolute hurler through that ant hole. Some people are just better at ant holing than others. Very nicely done there from khanate. Next up, we have kLeiN. A whole 0.59 faster. So this should be a noticeable improvement, I would have thought. Goes for the inside, gets a lot faster. Goes on the inside ramp. If you can get the speed with the inside ramp, it gives you a shorter line across the hole after the start. Great fling out of that slick section. Different people making the slick section work better for them. Some people not good enough at slick to get it to work. But nicely around here. Keeps a lot of speed into this, so no problems going through there. And some really smooth runners so far. Following that up, just so that I don't say next up, we have qutebones with a little chunk of an improvement. Just 0.04 over kLeiN. It is possible to gain speed on slick, but you won't get as much because the speed is halved. So you do, when you're going under that slick part, want to go for as little as possible. That was a really nice start. Gets a lot of speed off of it. It was really tricky to keep yourself low and gain speed, but also get the speed off of everything. That's an incredible slick, coming out with 2,300 nearly there. Right round, no rocketing. Just about. You've got to hold your guts going through there. To make sure that you don't just panic when you're about to hit one of those steps, because they will completely kill your run. This is what I was talking about at the start of the round. You know, you're looking at these and you think, oh, I could have done that. Oh, if only I'd known that was definitely faster, because there was a lot of challenge in working out what was faster, and certainly what was faster for you. Something that I think is beautiful about Freddy's maps is that generally there's a lot of routes, and they tend to converge at the top end. We'll see a lot of the same routes at the top end, but someone will find that every route is their best route. And that's always quite nice. As we can see there, that's a super inside, being able to just glance off. There's the pre-fire, so you do want to go slightly slower to be able to get 1,000 speed. 2,300 at those side steps. Gets the shot, gets through, 2,300 off the slick. 2 rockets, giving good speed towards here. One of the trickiest parts, keeping speed up that ramp. That was a pre-fire rocket, yes. Pre-fire rocket, and then the 3 nades that we saw most of the rest of the top 20 so far pulling off. Very nice for Uchi. First of our pre-firers. Jumping ahead, 0.06. Everything's really, really tight for the next 10 players actually here. Hold on a minute. Never mind. The next player, 2, with a 36.05. I was slightly confused because for some reason Uchi is down as the 14 in the spreadsheet. But it's fine. They're not tied. That happened quite a lot. That you would just not quite make either of the steps. You'd either go one too high or one too low. 2 missing that rocket actually there. And then uses a rocket down here. So 1 nade, 1 rocket. Using the rocket second. The pre-fire rocket doesn't actually pop quite as much. And taking this lower route. Yes, I believed in this route. Why did I not keep going for it? That is a fantastic route. You get across, you get the double jump off the top, you take a good amount of inside. Absolutely fantastic line there from 2. Believe in the lines that you think about. This is what I'm saying, that you're going to get annoyed with your route because you see what other people are doing and you go, oh, I could have committed to it. But remember that what you committed to is probably the best thing to do. Yeah, hitting the wall. A lot of hitting the wall. That's something we might see with Ninyar's run. Hopefully. Please have hit a walls to demonstrate the point about hitting walls to change spacing. Would be really nice of you. Even if it was accidental, we're going to say it was on purpose. It's just how this goes. So nice on the inside. There you go, little wall tap. Round here, 1 off there. Nice one there. Getting slightly further ahead. Then this apparently I saved, so I don't go for the slick underneath. So apparently I saved this PB run by not going for that. So hey, it's a good job that I suck at slick. And there it is, up and over the top. Very nicely done. That's a nice line through there as well with a lot of speed. Being able to get up and over there. The rocket launcher is taken away from you quite far away from the top of that ledge. So being able to do that is a very difficult trick. You need a lot of speed out of the red section, out of the ramp section. Super difficult to pull off. Yeah, you have to absolutely have your spacing correct. You practically have to line everything up by doing a bunch of runs. I never even managed to get it, but the closest I was able to get was by looking at where people had been able to... there was a line drawn, because I've got permanent rocket markings on. And there was a line drawn where the rocket markings were. So you could see it. The trigger that takes the weapon away is a fair bit earlier, but I don't think it was predicted that you'd be able to get that much speed coming out. Everything was planned on this map. But it was intended that you'd be able to use the rocket in that room. I don't think for be able to get up there, but everything's intended. But yeah. Being able to get the rocket and use it in that room was the intended path. Especially for players who were coming out of the other teleporter. Super high speed coming through here with RainbowShadow's run. Yeah, it's absolutely the last millisecond you can get. You have to go for that slick to be able to do this, I think, because you need so much speed. Like, that wouldn't have been enough speed from RainbowShadow, I don't think. Eats quite a lot of ramp there, but is going to get through this anthole. Very nicely done. And then a good cruise into the surf. The more you can stay clean on the surf, the faster you go. When you're doing that bob, bob, bob bit at the end, that's, 1, you can just drop out of it, and 2, that tends to be when you're losing a lot of speed because you're having to hold yourself right against it. You can't kind of glide and just let the speed take you, and you've got no height to convert into speed. Next up, a small jump again, down to woah. who is our 11th place. Interesting start there, not doing a circle jump, just doing a little wall run. I did take a look at the checkpoints and the start speeds between different players. There's a lot. There's a lot of difference in start speeds because it didn't matter so much this time. You could get a higher start speed, but pretty much everyone was getting the same off of the ramp. So it just meant where you jump, you just needed to time it and predict it. Look at that beautiful shot there, holding down the fire and having to shoot the shotgun straight after. You can see that literally in the click that he jumps across the line, he blows up the shotgun as well. So that's just like a single click and the shotgun goes. That's how close to the line you had to go. jhheight here in 10th place. 35.61. Another 0.07 taken off of the previous run. We're working our way slowly down. We're about to get a couple of reasonable sized jumps though, and then things will calm down again and get some close runs, and then it goes again. Very interesting. Tulpa, I will allow somebody else to explain how you get multiple triggers in single player. Very nice pre-fire start. It's a shame we didn't see jhheight going up the hole. We know how much he loves hole. 2300 out the side. Absolutely fantastic. Goes for the 2 rocket strategy and a glide up here. Keeps 1000 speed through there. That's absolute magic. Gets through the hole. That's commitment and magic. And that's a glorious surf glide towards the end. Really nice time improvement there from jhheight. Giving us our 9th position, we have Floupy. Again taking off 0.07. jhheight confirmed the best W holder, indeed. It's all that practice setting the W only author time on his map for this year. That's the real difficult time. It's actually quite easy, you know, everyone's going to beat his regular author time, but that W only time, that was a nice little one. That just looks clean. I don't think it gave the best speed, but this is an incredible amount of speed here. That pre-fire I don't actually think gave the best amount of speed though. The nice thing with going down with the slick is it doesn't matter how you eat the ramp right before that. You shoot the button and you go down. And it doesn't matter if you absolutely eat the ramp or if you glide it. The route I was taking over the top, if you had to glide it and keep super nice. So, very interesting. It was probably the wrong route, considering I've seen now the top 20. Now we have a fairly big jump up of 0.3 to plaza. So let's take a look. $2.2k before slick. Yeah, so but then he hit the ramp to go down to 1800 before shooting the button. His final room was super clean. Nice run here. Low speed here actually. Yeah, that's quite low. It does come in with the 2000 to the stairs. That's quite low for this point though. So what's Plaza going to manage to pull off here? Here we go. Here's the thing. If nobody's seen the thing yet. There's the thing. Going into the hole. And so, Plaza, congratulations on being the first person to do the thing. Because we're going to play that in slow motion. Frostie showed me the thing. I went, that's bullshit. I don't even know how you're doing that. It was quite difficult to explain because you can't explain going up the ramps. You have to do it from the going down version. So if anybody... Yep, that's correct then. So if anybody wondered... oh, shit. Hold on. Here we go again. Yeah, so if anybody wondered why there was some random random things in there, if you've got infinite decals on, you're wondering why there was some random decals in that hole. That's why. Here we go. Yeah, if you shoot rockets at jump pads, they bounce back at you. So we're coming in here, and then you get... I can't show a mouse on screen. You get the rocket launcher at the top of that grey platform. And then we go in here, so we get it just here, like right the next frame basically. There it is. Shoot it at that bounce pad at the back of the chute. And then it bounces back at you, and because you immediately then pick up another rocket launcher, you shoot the rocket launcher again and get a rocket back. So you can just keep shooting because it's giving it and taking it. And then he's got another rocket launcher and 1500 speed to be able to do that. And then into the finish. When that start was less than 2000 through the booster pad, I kind of thought something like that might happen. So anyway, your next player is going to be Shynx, who has knocked a whole 1.5 seconds off of Plaza. We are completely skipping the 34. And do you know what's scary? I'm looking at Goblin's time right now, and he's saying he didn't know about that. Here we go. Let's see what's going on, because this is going to be absolutely mental. A second and a half to take off. We have a lot of time left to take off. It has slowly been incrementing while we've had the same route, the same tricks. And how many people were upset they didn't find this one? You've got to go from below for this, I think. Wait, what? Where's he making this time up from? He's just gone absolutely... Oh, and he's gone the inside line absolutely beautifully. And then surfs it into the finish with 1.5 seconds on Plaza's run without doing the thing. And that's 1.8 seconds, 1.9 nearly on Floupy's run, which is a very good, very tight run for a no bullshit run. And then Shynx puts in a run like that. What a run. Snow is next up. Remember, playing in third person here. We are taking off 0.56 on this one. So a decent chunk of time. Gets the pre-fire very nicely. 2300. Super clean through here. Nicely up. Keeps a lot of speed. Gets more speed coming out of there than otherwise would. Gets the double fire. Not quite as clean as Plaza's, but absolutely beautiful. Minus 0.1. A lot of speed coming through here. Jumps straight over there. Gets a beautiful down ramp. And into the finish. No panic towards the end. Absolutely beautiful. And I do think that that very last corner was helped by playing in third person, because that looked like the sort of thing that you'd be able to see a little bit further ahead and just kind of know what you're doing a bit better than other people might be able to. In fifth place, it's only a small improvement. It's only 0.14. It's fine. It's gibbz. Let's take a look. Because we've seen Shynx pull it back with a regular no Chitterino run. We've heard Goblin saying there's something else potentially. Because surely he's not just gone that fast. You know, not to spoil, but it's that fast. I'm interested with the amount of people doing WA straight slick wall strafes here, actually. That's quite interesting. That's super nice and clean. Very fast through here. Takes the shot. Super nice slick. No need to strafe in that section. Just keeps it calm and consistent. Doesn't go for the trick. Nice little pre-fire, actually. Going forwards instead of... like, just consistent. Trying to get the height and get some speed out of it. And brings it through to the finish. Absolutely flying. No need for any tricking with gibbz run. And we roll one forwards onto source. Oh, and an instant reset and retry. Yeah, getting straight back on it. gibbz absolutely does that every time. The number of regular season world records that gibbz has that are runs after he's just finished a run. Absolutely brilliant. gibbz is fantastic at the brilliant shooting down rockets. Yeah, 200 and height. Absolutely mad. Yeah, here we go for source. Taking 0.41 seconds off of gibbz run. Source had a thing. We're not sure what the thing was. It's a surprising amount of route sharing and not route sharing. Depends who wants to talk to who, and it's very interesting. Who's heard from who? Wall strafing, or just gave up because he ate a ramp? Ooh, 1500 nearly and going through, and is wall strafing. Very nice. That's super clean. Loses barely any speed off of there. Whoo! 1450 I think I saw coming out of there. Is going to go for the Podbiashka. Gets the shot and the shotgun straight after. Little flick off the ramp, maybe. Des spotted that on a different run. Maybe was a little flick off the ramp. Absolutely beautiful there from source. Not super fast. There is a chance for going through the ant hole on the inside off of something. But next up we have third place. Delta. 1.12 seconds ahead of source. $16.50 off the slick. What? 1200 pre-fire, still coming through with 1800 there. Has to pre-fire that at the floor because he's going so fast. Through here, nice flick. One of the best slickers in the game, Delta. Beautiful shot. 1500, 200 speed on the gain. Where's he going through here? Gets the DJ round the corner, 1800 into it, and a beautiful surf into the finish, not losing many bits. A 1 out of 20 start strat, we're being told. But 1650 off the start strat. Beautiful. Beautiful run. And Frostie, he's only pipped him by 0.02. Into second place. Slightly slower start. Gets a very nice pre-fire. Look at the extra speed Frostie's getting. And he's got an extra grenade to use later because of the pre-fire. Nicely done through here. 1700, nearly 1750 coming through. Gets the DJ, gets all the way around. Surfs it beautifully into the finish. Frostie said just before, these people have never surfed in their lives. Uses an AD surf like a true surfer to get into the finish. And finally, your champion of the week. It was foretold in the prophecies of me spoiling it quite a few times. 30.6 Goblin. 0.86 faster, and he didn't know about the double rocket in the tube thing. Let's have a look. What do we reckon's going on? It's the 1 out of 20 start strat doing the non-circle jump strat very nicely. Wiggling looks like a vintage player. 2,000 nearly through there. 2,500 up here? Yes, and gets almost a surf off of there. No speed lost. 2,600 coming out of that slick section. Pre-fires a rocket over to the side, gets the clean rocket up. What on earth, my man? What is going on? No wonder he doesn't need the strat. That's better. Surely that's better. It's shorter and it's the same speed. Okay. I don't think I would have the reaction times, and nor does jhheight, to be able to do that in the time scale we are about to watch that in. I think we're just going to watch pretty much the entire run in 1/10 the speed. In fact, I'm going to pause this and I am going to bind right arrow slow-mo 0.1 bind left arrow. It's not 0.1, is it? Yeah, okay, so that's a quarter speed. Here we go then. We're on a quarter speed. He just takes it normal out the start. And then it's a slick round here. 1,500-ish off of there. Goes forwards. Just left, right wiggles to get the right spacing. Get everything. Nice rocket there for the pre-fire. Swaps to the grenade. One shot. Loses a fair bit of speed here, but gains an absolute ton off the back of that. Second shot with the pre-fire to give him 1,500 through there. It's a surf on the way up to keep the spacing. Through here. Drops a bomb. Slick. Just the absolute tiniest tap. I mean, we see back there. So, letting go of sneak. Letting go of crouch while underneath the section. So you won't pop back up. And then pops back up as soon as possible. Missed the ramp DJ before slick. Goblin spent 20 hours on this. And now we go to the 10% speed. We're even getting frame bumps. Loses a fair bit of speed here, but just going straight up, straight up, straight up. There's the rocket launcher. There's the flick. We're in 1/10 speed. I must remind you again. We're in 1/10 speed. Follows this. Knows he's got the speed to catch the rocket. 1,400 off of there. The rocket's reloaded. Step up cancelling height. True. Didn't even spot that, let alone think about it. As who would. Pre-fire rocket on the floor for an extra 200 speed. It's not even the fastest he's been through here. It looks like he's not going to make it at this point. But he just clips it through with 1,600 speed. This is now a quarter speed. Surfs it slightly up here. Gets the double jump around this corner. Full clearing that. It's the best way to get as much speed off of this bottom ramp as possible. And then, boom, into the finish. What an incredible run from Goblin. That is incredible. Chapeau. Well done. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the grinding history of the map, of the 20 hours that Goblin put into it. Round number 2, bring the page across and bump it onto the main screen. Here's your history. Let's pop on the top 3. You can see nope, didn't mean to do that. You can see Goblin just climbing here, and he took it on the 31st, and there it is, getting a record right at the end, just a couple hours before the finish, but as did everybody else. And there's the overtake right at the end here from Frostie, overtaking Delta, hipping him to the post here. Delta tries to fight back, with that final second PB, but can't quite get there. I mean, look at this. Like, sources, they're gap, and they're close, and there's the gap. And now I'm just going to turn on, you know, a little bit of a gap there. Super close. Massive gap. Massive gap. Then look at the rest of these guys coming in. Every one of them. Look at this is your top 20. And there's your top 20. There is more than half of your top 20, and then boom, 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 boom. And some of these jumps don't have the cuts that the last things happen. The lines just keep going up and to the right. What a run. What a run. What does the distribution look like though? Well, if you were a 37 to a 37.99er, you can count yourself in the majority there. Quite a lot of time skipped. I mean, we've got a whole second skipped in the top 20 right here. That is the 34. Yeah, the 34 to 35 section completely skipped. Down here at the minutes, got a couple of skips. That normally happens. Not a huge amount of problems with the times. And here are all of the people that ran it. A lot of times on a lot of different servers. It's been great seeing everybody playing. Let's take a look in the round overview. These are the stats I get. At your overall. So here is how we are looking after round number 2. Of course, round number 1, exactly the same as everything stood. Here's the points for round number 1. Round number 2, Goblin is of course taking the lead with 20-30 points at the top. Frostie jumps up 2 places to bring him into second place. A decent chunk behind Goblin. Then Source is in third place, goes down 1 place. Delta moves up a place. Shynx is down 2 places. gibbz stays the same, as well as Snow. woah's moving down 1 place in the overall. jhheight moves up 2 places, with Uchi staying the same. kLeiN losing 2 places, but still holding strong. 3 places for RainbowShadow, moving up, showing his rocket knowledge. 2 staying the same place, a very consistent player as always. Plaza moves up 9 places, bringing him into 14th overall. Ninyar, the same, makes a huge move, 6 places up as well. 3 places for qutebones. Ash drops down 5 places, but still holding on pretty well, coming in 25th place this week. 20th place for Kyle, bumps him up 1 place. wdjzr down 2, and myself down 4. Banano just outside the top 20, moving up 1 place. Nature is in 22nd, moving up 2 places. And the rest goes down. Floupy moves up 55 places, having come 90th last week. Anyone else in the top 20 from this week? Nero doesn't play the map and moves down 37 places. I'm just looking for green markers here. There are no more green markers there. There is your top 20 overall placements after the week. It has been a fantastic week. Let's take a quick peek over at the map for round number 3. Get a clean sheet. Here we go. So we start out on this platform. You can of course watch the guide video that I put out. This is a very long map, and we are finding that that slick at the start matters a lot. You then bring yourself all the way through here, carrying as much speed as you can from that slick. Take it over the top, try and land all the way down here. Follow this corner. There will surely be no things on this map. Not 3 maps in a row, surely. But I fully expect it to happen. Try not to get yourself stuck there. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming along here. The drop to here is very good. We get across this way. Little slick patches if you need to adjust your spacing. Use this to get up and a bit more height if needed. Dropping down, try and get the down ramp. I shouldn't have taken that. I think I had enough speed to not need that and to just run the wall. This section is going to be very important. Can we keep speed coming out of here and get a lot of that coming along the slick? Get as much speed as you possibly can coming through here. Don't hit what I've just hit. Do definitely aim for the door, but it's okay if you do. Through here. If you can't make it up, go into those two triangles at the side. Oh, I accidentally did. Otherwise, go straight over the top and keep your speed. Do you take this slick? Is it useful? Can you get onto it cleanly? Come around this corner. Keep yourself out of the holes towards the end. Don't eat the hidden purple step that's there. This side has a wall slick. Please don't use it. It would upset me greatly. And then fly yourself into the finish very nicely. There's your map for next week. Get grinding. Let's see what you can do. Will there be tricks? Hopefully it won't be so difficult to watch as this week, but they were some amazing runs, weren't they? Thank you very much for watching. I will see you over the next week, hopefully on the server, and hopefully back here at the same time for next week's XDWC review. Thank you very much for watching. Have a pleasurable week.